Hello, I'm the 10-minute English teacher. Let's get you exam ready. Today you join me for a walkthrough of question 1 for AQA GCSE English Language, paper 1. The paper starts with a reading section that takes you 1 hour to complete. The first thing we do is we read the extract and then we list 4 things from the beginning of it. Then we've got a language analysis question. We've got a question about the structure of the text, and then we've got a mini essay response before we move on to the writing section. Today we're thinking about question 1. So we start with the extract. I'll read this to you now. So we've got Abby has to walk her new dog every day before school. She's moved house and has yet to make new friends there. Abby brushed her teeth and looked in the mirror at her tired eyes. Walking her dog Barney before school every day had been part of an agreement with parents before she got him, and she was starting to regret it. The novelty of having a dog had worn off and her life still felt uneventful. The field she had to walk through, when everyone else was still enjoying the warmth of their beds, were always dark and frosty, and having to walk to school every day after returning Barney was exhausting. Things would be different in the summer, when the sun was shining and Barney was a little older and more obedient, she told herself. With her coat buttoned and her ankles bandaged tightened, she gently placed Barney's lead on him to keep him safe along the street before they crossed to the fields. She twisted her foot a week ago, but walking was still uncomfortable. Dull hunger for breakfast was something that would serve to distract her before she got home. She stepped mournfully out of the house, noticing the hard frost that had sharpened the grass and coated the roof tiles. As Abby crossed the first field behind her house, Barney blasted ahead of her. He had a habit of adventuring off with his tail wagging like a flag and then running back in a clumsy panic when he realised he was alone. His life was full of simple joy and he was pleased by everything. From the moment he woke to the end of the day when he finally settled in his basket by the door, he was happy. He had tiny eyes that shone like pebbles on the beach, lapped by the tide, and the grin of someone telling a good joke. People would stop Abby in the street to run their fingers through his chocolate brown coat and tell her all about their own dogs at home. Something that had begun to now seem like an obstacle to overleap whenever she wanted to walk through the town. Abby had hoped that she would feel happier with a new companion in her life, but found it hard to see Barney as anything other than a responsibility, especially in the morning. Having moved away, far away from the friends and life she knew before, was something that really unsettled her. She wished she could take pleasure from life the way that her small brown dog was able to. Something as mundane as a field could bring to Barney the same explosion of joy that finding a treasure map might, and Abby wished that her life could seem as fulfilling and eventful. She was desperate to be in touch with her friends from her old school, but had nothing to report. The rope that tied her to them seemed as if it was about to break. It may have been Barney that saw it first, with its flamingo pinks and greens that formed circles on the grass, melting the frost. Amazed, Abby looked up at the craft and felt the air about her pulse. What it was made of she couldn't tell. It could have been either metal or a form of rock, highly polished. It hung in the air and seemed to oscillate gently to keep its place in front of her, as if it was focusing on her alone. A dull yet beautiful hum rang in her head, and she felt as if the sound she heard was being transmitted to her directly, heard only by her and Barney, who simply looked upwards with his tail wagging in time with the spinning lights. And that's the extract. So we've read that carefully, and we've got our head around it, hopefully. You read at your own pace in the examination. You've got time to really engage with that, and you need to if you're going to be able to answer the questions that follow accurately. Okay, question 1. It says, read again the first part of the source from lines 1 to 4, which I've provided for you here. List 4 things we find out about Abby. So we've got Abby brushed her teeth and looked in the mirror at her tired eyes. Walking her dog Barney before school every day had been part of an agreement with parents before she got him, and she was starting to regret it. The novelty of having a dog had worn off and her life still felt uneventful. So you've got a little bit of time here to explain, list 4 things. So you need 4 bits of information about Abby from this. It is not meant to be a challenging question. The majority of students will get all 4 marks for this question. It's simply testing your ability to be able to pull out key information from a very small amount of text. Very straightforward, not here to trip you up, here to build your confidence. So have a little bit of a think now and think about what you would be pulling out of the extract. Okay, here are some examples of relevant and worthwhile answers. So her life seems uneventful. That's what we found out about Abby from this bit of the text. She had tired eyes, that will do. She had a dog called Barney, really simple and straightforward. She had to walk her dog every day. So ultimately, you're meant to get all of the marks here. It shouldn't be too complicated or challenging for you. And if you can provide 4 bits of evidence from the text in that manner, you're going to get yourself 4 marks for this question, and then you'll be able to move on to question 2. Okay, check out the other videos on my channel. I'll continue to add content. Feel free to ask for something you'd like to see me cover in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, ring the bell, and share. And keep revising.